This week's episode is brought to you by NYXI and their Hyperion Pro Joy-Cons for Nintendo Switch. The Hyperion Pro is the best Joy-Con replacement we've tested to date. They look fantastic, they feel better than stock Joy-Cons, and the Hall effect sticks ensure longevity of them will outlast Nintendo's offering, as well as other third-party brands that still suffer with the dreaded drift issues. The super comfortable and ergonomic grip allow for easy long-time gaming. The programmable RGB lights mean you can customize the controller to your particular taste, and the gamer's reflex macro buttons are available to give you an edge. Plus, the GameCube-inspired purple option and the green Legend of Zelda-inspired variant really make the controller stand out. All this, and using promo code PvP, you can get 10% off. Head over to nixigame.com or use the link in the description. Hello, welcome to Podcast First Player, episode 280. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who thinks if anything good comes out of global warming, he'll be there in a few years' time. Dancing on Ice won't be on anymore. It's only bloody Dan.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hello, and we are early again, Dan.
Yes.
We are.
Although it may not seem it from the podcast upload times, unfortunately.
Yes, we've had a few technical issues. So the video for 279, which should be up by the time this video goes up, has gone up late. Audio went up as it should for iTunes, Spotify, Castbox, etc. So audio side's all good, but some technical hiccups there. And then because of schedule planning, we're recording the podcast today instead of Wednesday. So everything's just all over the place, Dan. It's all a bit crazy.
It is a little bit crazy.
It is.
And I'm going to use that as an interesting segue because not many people will know this as of yet, but there is a new lady in my life at the moment. And I thought that as we're doing a podcast on a bank holiday, this is as good a time as any to kind of introduce her to you, but also to the sort of the wider PvP audience. So this is Beckett.
Oh my goodness. I did not know anything about this, but that's the cutest little bastard I've ever seen in my life.
This is Beckett Meowriner.
Wow. That's a Lower Decks reference, people.
It is. It's not only a Star Trek joke, but it's also a Star Trek cat pun.
That's amazing. And more to the point, Dan, why is this the first time I'm knowing anything about it?
I wanted it to be on the podcast for you, so we could all see you go, what the fuck?
That's not where I thought this was going.
No.
She is amazingly cute. When did you
I've got
Beckett?
Saturday. So I've got which is because that was always the plan. I was supposed to get her 2 weeks ago, but because she's so tiny. She's 10 weeks old, if you can believe it.
Goodness.
But I was supposed to get her at 8 weeks, but because she was not a runt necessarily, but because she was just sort of a bit left behind.
The smallest of the litter.
Yeah. She was. They kept her for another couple of weeks just so that she had a bit more free time, just to get some extra food and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So it was 2 weeks behind. And then I picked her up on Saturday. Be careful, bloody hell.
Get her back up. I want to see her again.
Sorry. Come here, gorgeous.
What kind of cat is she?
She's a ragdoll cross.
She's so cute.
She's got the bluest eyes in the world, haven't you? Yes, you have. So, I went to get her on Saturday. And when I think it was on... There you go, good girl. It was either on Thursday or Friday or something like that. You said, this is going to be the plan for next week. Probably did a podcast on Monday. I was like, yep, that works. Because that way she can be a bit more adjusted and I can introduce it to you literally on the podcast for the first time.
Well, Dan, I think this is only right. I'm going to buy you a stream deck and another camera. And then going forward, periodically, you're just going to switch cameras to go to Beckett Cam to just see what she's up to and stuff.
Well, she's doing really well. I bought her a bunch of toys just to see what she likes the look of. I bought her a cool little cat. I mean, I've got 60 pictures or whatever that I will send you later because now that they're all sort of saved up. And you can insert a few of these as and when you want to, or have them as backgrounds or whatever.
Might just put them over your camera to keep them there.
I honestly don't care. She's way
amazing.
cuter. Yeah, she's so cute. So actually, I'm going to send you a couple I don't care about the people listening to this. You should have got yourself a cat, shouldn't you?
But not just that, Dan. I mean, I've got stuff to talk about, but quite frankly, I don't want to now.
I know now. Nobody should.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Beckett podcast, where we're just going to talk about all the things that Beckett likes and the things that she doesn't like. Well, they can go fuck themselves because
absolutely
this is our new princess.
Well, this is it now, and you're just gonna get cat spammed, unfortunately.
T-shirts, Dan.
Oh my god.
Beckett t-shirts.
Meowing her t-shirts. Yep.
It is going to happen.
Pimping her out already.
Let me have a quick... Oh my fucking Christ. That's the cutest thing I've fucking seen.
Isn't she just?
Holy shit, snacks.
So, one of the directors from work,
quit your job. You just need to stay and look after her forever.
They got 2 pure breed ragdolls, and they both gone out one evening. Both came back pregnant, and they just ended up with just a big old litter. And he sent he sent a picture around of Beckett and one of her siblings. So it was like a pure black, yellow eyes. And as soon as I saw it, I haven't had a cat before. I'm a dog person. I've always had dogs.
You had a ferret.
If I had a garden, I had a ferret. Yeah, absolutely. But again, there was plenty of space. We had a garden and stuff like that, so a ferret could sort of mooch around. But if I had a garden, I would have had a dog, or if I could take it to the office, I would have had a dog by now. And I've only had sort of exposure to cats through my mate, and their 2 cats, which were just, they kind of redefined cat to me. There was like, oh, cats can be nice and cool and calm and want to play with you and be nice and not be a dickhead. And as soon as I saw this picture that he sent round, and it was just her sort of like on her back with these enormous blue eyes, pure blue eyes. Never seen a cat with blue eyes before. Like the whole eyeball. It was crazy.
Hey, Luna had blue eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's just like it's a hereditary thing. I'm sure,
oh, yeah.
Because like the mum has blue eyes. I don't know what I genuinely don't know what hit me. I was just sort of like, I have to have that cat. I have to have it. And I'd never discussed it with like the landlady or anything like that. I never sort of put it out there as like this is a possibility. But as soon as I messaged her, because I thought, I'd spoke to my housemate and he was like, yeah, cool, it's your cat, obviously, so I'm not looking after it, but, I don't mind it being around as long as she sorted it out. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine. The only problem would be the landlady. She's like, well, no, there's no pets or whatever. So I texted her and just said, this is what I'm thinking. It's totally cool if you say, no, I'm not going to just go ahead and do it. Not just going to go ahead and do it anyway, but I just wanted to see what you think. And she was like, yeah, I'm a cat protector, like Cats League protector or something like that. She was like, you absolutely go for it. So then I was like, well, then I literally have nothing stopping
because
me.
I've already got it.
No, I it was the same day. I'd messaged her and got a message back. She was just like, yeah, go for it. And then, I was going to get her that weekend. So that was like the Monday or the Tuesday, like 2 weeks ago. That's when the director was like, she hasn't really been getting to the food as much. Like she's not weak, she's not sickly. She's just a little small and she can't fight her way through. But she's getting there now and she's a bit bigger, so we'll hold on to her for a couple of weeks. So got her on Saturday. Here she is now, climbing up my leg. Come here, gorgeous. Come on.
Hello. There's already as we're talking, there's already a slideshow of her going with all the pictures you just sent.
Yeah, like an in memoriam thing.
That's how it does seem, but it's not a morbid thing. It's just incredibly fucking cute.
She is, and she's still very much in her exploration stage at this point. Kind of just getting a feel for everything. Although you're not going to like me next week, mate, because I'm going to take you in for vaccinations.
It's got to be done.
You're going to feel bad then, aren't you?
But you'll feel better after.
Yeah, and I want to kind of introduce her to some other cats. So she's got sort of like, I mean, she's grown up with like a bunch of cats, so she's very cattish in the sense of like, she keeps herself very clean. She's very curious. Don't eat that wire. Don't stand on the keyboard either. Jesus Christ. No, let go of the key. Let go of the key. How have you done that, you fucking idiot? Oh God, no, cat, get off it. Get off the wire, you twat.
Rule number 1 of being a father, Daniel: you need to proof the house.
Constant maintenance.
You need to get her.
I'm gonna have to turn my legs over here so she can't jump back up again.
She's fantastic, though. I'm glad you saved her.
I know she's great, isn't she?
She's so cute. You're going to be inundated with messages from Zoe as well as soon as I send it over.
Yeah, well, I'd rather. I wanted this to be like almost like a test of whether she actually bothers watching the podcast. So, if you put the podcast up and then she doesn't immediately message me, go, "What the fuck? You got a cat? When?" Then clearly she didn't do her job.
I don't think I have it in me to not tell her.
I know. Well, this is the thing. I haven't told anybody because I was just like, I don't know how and I don't know why. But if anyone got the message to you before this, and I could show her,
I'd have found out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it absolutely wouldn't be worth the risk, would it?
It'd have been, and probably it would have been on it'd be on like the PvP Insta. Someone would have messaged going, "Hey Dan, how's the cat?" I go, "Wait," and then and I'd just reply, pretend to be you, going, "Oh, just remind me what you're on about."
Yeah, please, pictures, proof.
No, I'm glad that didn't happen though, because that was a massive surprise.
Woohoo! Mission accomplished.
I don't even want to do the news now, but we're going to have to. Before we do that, though, you can get to podcastfirstplay.com/PvP store, where you can look at all our new designs. And because it's going to happen, they're going to be Beckett-inspired designs. It's going to have to happen.
Yeah, that's fine.
It'll have to happen.
Yeah, right.
She can be our princess. However, Deadpool and Wolverine, Dan?
Yes.
Ticket sales have set records at AMC 2 months before release. So the pre-sale tickets went live. I can't remember what day. I think it was last Thursday, I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing.
Yeah, I saw a thing on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah, same.
But the tickets went on sale. People seem to be very excited about the film, snapping up those said tickets. Adam Aaron, CEO of the movie theatre giant AMC, said the company has already sold more than 200,000 tickets for Deadpool and Wolverine. So that's just that cinema alone.
Bloody hell.
This includes
cinema chain.
Chain rather. This includes more day one ticket sales than any other R-rated movie in AMC's history. Another high-profile ticket seller, Fandango, earlier this week reported strong ticket sales, for Deadpool and Wolverine, and the Hollywood Reporter's sources say Deadpool and Wolverine first-day ticket sales revenue could be as high as $9 million.
Jesus, just on
pre-sales.
Yeah.
It's going to be a massive hit, even if it's like under expectations of what we want it to be as a film. I think it's going to be fucking. If Fast and Furious can sell well, this can.
True, but the expectation is now at such a point where if it's not great, it will get ground into the floor.
I think it's quite telling that so Ryan Reynolds has what's the John Krasinski film? It. That's had Sorry. It'd be very different if it was it.
John Krasinski's imaginary friend, or whatever it is, and it's Pennywise.
That's had very lackluster reviews.
Oh, really?
But what I have seen is Ryan Reynolds has done very little in terms of his own promotion for the film.
What do you mean? It's been all over fucking Instagram and Twitter.
But all of the stuff has been that's like so the thing with, I forgot the chap's name. Fake John Krasinski.
Oh, Ray Parker?
Yeah.
Is it?
Like stuff like
no, isn't that
no Ray Parker's Nightcrawler. It's
Ray something, isn't it?
It's Ray something or something Ray. Oh my god, that's really annoying.
I'm gonna have to Google it because I really like that guy.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's really, really good.
Let's have a look. I'm trying to find out. Or I'm trying to remember what Blockbuster was in that, wasn't it?
Blockbuster was in, yeah.
Randall Park.
There we go.
Not bloody Ray Park.
The thing is, though, it sounded right, but it's obviously wrong.
Yeah.
Well, like a lot of the big promotion that he's done has been those kind of stuff, where he's like reposted that or he's done a video where he's talking to John Krasinski or whatever, as opposed to Deadpool, which he's just been pushing for before the movie even came, like before we had a trailer or anything. But I don't know whether that's telling of this film isn't as well received, so I'm not going to do as much promotion to it. Whereas this one, I don't think it's like that. Though. I mean, I wouldn't say. I'd say it's aimed more at kids, but it from the trailers it struck me as something that it's a family one. So there's going to be jokes in there that the adults get that the kids don't get. It's got the magical element that the kids like, and so on and so forth. From the trailer, I think it looked quite good, personally.
I mean, anything like this though, you're going up against Monsters Inc. straight out the gate, like, and that's a really fucking high bar, quite frankly.
I don't know
that to do like an imaginary friends monsters. I mean, I know that the monsters from Monsters Inc. aren't imaginary friends, but it's still, if it's a kids' movie, it's about imaginary monsters for kids. You know,
it's that I can see the reference to Monsters Inc. where they exist because of kids. Like it's for the screams and the scares and everything else. Whereas obviously imaginary friends only exist if the kids believe in them. Doesn't matter whether it's this film or it's a different kind of film. If they stop believing, they stop existing. That's been a thing that's been in lots of other things.
Sure.
I'll still watch it. I think it looks fine.
Yeah, it looks alright. I mean, it's kind of like this is in the same vein as like Free Guy.
Yes.
I'm just like, I don't really know if you. I think it's just because you slap Ryan Reynolds' name on it and put him in it, obviously, that automatically makes it better or cool or whatever. And it's like it's not a particularly great film. There's some funny stuff in it, but it's
fine.
It's just mediocre.
I've never watched it
best.
Again.
No, that's a good. Well,
The Adam Project I've watched twice though.
That I haven't
It's quite good. It's okay. It's okay.
It's a Netflix thing, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. Yeah. Mark Ruffalo's in that as well.
Is he? No,
It's his dad. He plays his dad in it.
Oh.
I can't actually remember if his wife and stuff is famous as well. I honestly can't remember. It's an okay film though. Mixes a lot of very Terminator-esque mixed with some other, like, well, not some other, but some family style film. It's a bit of a mashup of genres. And it's fine. It's okay. I say I've watched that a couple of times. I'll give If a go. Obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine, 100,000,000%. And it's the day before Logan's birthday, so you know he can stay. He can go to his nanny and granddad's while I go watch it. So it's a birthday present he can't watch. He's got enough. Fucking hell. Speaking of movie things, this isn't a movie. However, James Wan, Dan, director of Aquaman and some horror movies.
The Annabelle or Orphan or something like that.
He this is a really weird one, and I've only included this because we talked about this on a few episodes ago, just completely randomly. Remember the Munsters? We had a quick chat about the Munsters, about something else in relation to
the Rob Zombie Munsters.
Yeah,
the absolutely terrible.
Include not that though, the original.
The like from the 60s.
Yeah. Via Deadline, James Wan is going to try his hand at a new version of the Munsters that embraces horror over comedy. Lindsay Anderson Beer and Ingrid Bisu are developing the Munsters Dark Reboot for Universal Content Productions, a division of MPC Universal. New series is currently called 1313.
That sounds familiar.
Sounds like a Star Wars thing. Yes. Supposedly after the address of the Munsters' home on 1313 Mockingbird Lane. And that's all I got on it, Dan. I think James Wan's quite a good director. However, embracing horror over comedy, it's not the Munsters then.
No, it's like the Addams Family was the more sort of like spooky, it's sort of like spooks over comedy, whereas I'm pretty sure it had a laughter track.
Yeah, the Munsters was a sitcom.
Yeah.
And it was obviously black and white, but there was still a laughter track to it, and it was still the same, the problems that a family sitcom would have. Only this time, people's heads can fall off and they don't die,
Yeah, it's Frankenstein's monster, and it's a vampire, and it's Elvira, and it's a werewolf, and whatever. It's all the universal monsters, but they're in a a wacky family comedy rather than, oh my god, they're all trying to kill us.
Yeah. So I don't know whether are they going to introduce more human people into it, and then they get killed, and who knows God what. But I'll probably give it a watch.
I don't know. I mean,
depending on how well it does. I'm not happy with it being called 1313 though. That's still a sore wound for me.
I know, yeah. I mean, I know that obviously that is still it's a reference to the address rather than Star Wars is cancelled 1313. But for people like me and you, Callum, we're going to take that as a hit.
It is every time I hear it. You know what?
So I'm going to have a look at the Munsters, the 2022 one it is. Because I want to see... Yeah, IMDb rating of 4.5 out of 10.
Not even halfway good.
83%? No, that's the original. Right, hold on. I was also like, Rotten Tomatoes, what you on about?
That's still high, though. For a show that...
No, that's for the TV show.
No, that's what I mean, but for a show that, 80%...
Oh, but I'd say that's appropriate, though.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I remember enjoying it as a kid, yeah.
But there's also not a great deal of stuff to choose from at that particular time.
Why, in 1964? No,
that's what I mean.
Not.
And when we watched it, there was only maybe 3 channels.
Yeah. Okay, so the Rob Zombie one has got 53% critic score, 35% audience score.
That's higher than I thought it was, I'll be honest.
No, that seems about right, to be fair.
You would think, though, that of all people
just doesn't look
to reboot the Munsters, Rob Zombie's a pretty good choice.
Well, given his wackiness, yeah sure.
Think he'll be asked to be involved in this?
Only in the sense of they'll have a picture of him by the door and say, do not let this man in the set at any point. You can't even buy a ticket to go and watch it.
I think it's on TV. Speaking of TV, something I still haven't watched is Ted.
I've had someone keep telling me about 4 weeks in a row. So have you started watching Ted yet? Have you started watching Ted? It's really good. You got to start watching Ted. And I've been meaning to. I've been putting it off because I was like, no, I've got other things I want to watch. Clarkson's Farm, that being one. I finished the final episode of season 3 on that last night. Incredible series.
Good.
I think
so good.
I was telling the person I was with. I was like, look, I've been watching Jeremy Clarkson since I was a kid. In Top Gear, not religiously. I'm not a car person. I don't drive or anything.
I don't think most people was that like Top Gear.
No, but that's the thing. It turned from a car show discussing sort of this is the new Rover, this is the new BMW, to then they do a special, and they'd get a beat up old piece of shit and then take it across the desert or whatever, and then it just became about the specials and about this week we're doing a challenge where we're going to have an Apache fighter helicopter chase us down and see if we can avoid its laser lock or whatever. And it wasn't a car show anymore. It was like set pieces.
Yeah, it's just a fun show.
But that's the thing, and that was the element of it it wasn't just the fact that it was a car. And also, this is the only way that it's a car show is that it's a car show for the 1%.
Yeah.
It's just we've got this new Lamborghini and it's $2.5 million, and then we're going to jump off a cliff or whatever. And no one who's actually watching that show for anything other than just sort of the hijinks is taking notes of that, going, oh, okay, well, this Lambo's pretty decent.
They took the piss, didn't they, for that exact reason, where people was writing in to complain that there wasn't enough time given to actual reviews. And I believe it was a Ford Fiesta or a Ford Focus. I honestly can't remember now. And they're like, we're going to see what it's like. This is how it performs going around town. And then they drove around town, and then they're like, but how does it perform shopping? And then they drive it into a shopping centre and stuff. And it's like, and how does it fare when it's being chased by a tank? It's like, well, they did a proper review in all these ridiculous scenarios. And then where they drop a piano on a caravan and stuff. And
yeah.
It was just
I do remember they did one where they I think, again, it must have been responding to a complaint or complaints about, them going off and doing all these adventures basically on the license players' money. And they went, well, so we thought we'd do a review, but we'll try and keep it a bit more low key. So they were like, oh well, the doors on this car, they open well, and then it cuts to them in Australia with that car just saying, and the visors, these come down great, and then it'd be like Norway or whatever. So they just purposefully shipped a car around the world just to do 3 seconds of footage, and then on to the next place. Like that's the sort of, it's just like, oh, climate change, boo, what do you want about, bloody vegans or whatever. Yeah. And then you go from that to sort of like the Grand Tour, which is sort of like, what if Top Gear, but not really Top Gear, like Top Gear what it became, but it had Amazon money behind it.
And it was a
we'll
special shoot all of the time.
Oh God, careful pickle. Oh God. She just fell asleep and slipped through my arm.
Oh God.
Steady on. But we'll fire Stinger missiles at this car and see if we can outrun it or whatever. And it's all just sort of like, it's all scripted, and it's still kind of great, but it's just if you like the fun stuff of Top Gear, it's just that more.
I don't think it
with a better
felt
budget.
the same though. It lost.
It was more
magic.
of a fuck you. Yeah. But Clarkson's farm, it feels like, I may have said this before on the last podcast we talked about this, but it feels like it's the first thing that I've actually seen him give a shit about. Like, genuinely, he cares, and like he wants this to work, and he cares about the work and the people, and he's constantly fighting against like the council and that sort of stuff. Honestly, like, obviously there's only one side to the story, and things may have been scripted or dramatized for
some bits are just for entertainment purposes, or it happened and they went, we'll film it again, but we'll exaggerate this particular moment, kind of thing. But I think for the most part, it's all just genuine stuff. I say, because I'd said to you before, obviously, spoilers, that's the main reason we did the farm series that we started, was because of Clarkson's farm. And I think just as a show, whether you like Jeremy Clarkson or not, it's very good TV. Whether you like farming, whether you don't like farming, it doesn't matter. It's a good show. And
it's like a human interest story at this point.
And it's interesting to see that the Jeremy Clarkson you see on Top Gear is just a very exaggerated caricature of himself, where it's
like, guns and petrol.
Yeah, it's everything's all
climate change is for nerds.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about the environment, and the like vegans should all be shot or dropped from high places and whatnot. And going from that to him worrying about the insects that are in the bushes, and making a like where he does the little river experiment and stuff where he can coax more wildlife into the area. It's just like, either this has been the Jeremy Clarkson the whole time, or him taking, because obviously this is his farm. He's owned this farm for a long time, and then
he's just not done anything with it.
Yeah,
really.
Well, it was the person that was running it retired, and he could have got someone else in to take his place or take over it himself and make a TV show about it. So he obviously did that. And I think some of the things where, obviously everybody knows where beef comes from and where you get your sausages from and stuff like that, but I suppose until you're in that situation of how do we get to that bit, and you start, I'd be a really bad farmer, just in the fact of like doing the wheat and all that stuff, and once you learn how to use the tractors properly and everything, that's fine. But the animal side of it, there's no way any of them pigs are going anywhere. Like, I'll get what,
especially after the amount of drama that went with him as well.
But even like Jeremy's ring, like that's such a clever invention that it's only somebody that cared could come up with that idea, like where he's just sat and he's thought about it fully. No, we're not going to spoil too much about it because it's a genuinely good show to watch. And I'd like to think that when Clarkson's doing his column in the paper, he's also going, you should check out Podcast versus It's a great podcast.
It's reciprocal. Yeah, of course it is.
But it's I still don't get the council side of it, because he's bringing tourism to the village.
But that's what they hate.
And that seems to be the case. But I think some of that is, everybody loves a good villain kind of thing.
Yeah, and if it's the government or local government, then more power to you. Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked into it to some degree, because if you were the council, and you'd be like, we never said that. Like, we never put these cones down. We didn't tell you couldn't have a car park. Like, that's a bit sort of out of order, mate.
Let's say we're
so
paid
if there was
money.
a disclaimer to say, well, some of the elements, we've kind of dramatized for this, because the only reason that I can see that them getting an appeal and it passing is because of public pressure.
Yeah.
Because of people saying, why wouldn't you want a bunch of people coming to the town, as long as the right measures are in place for you to be able to park everybody and seat everybody, and there's no actual damage to the environment, as long as they take steps. Because like you saying, look, having 300 people rock up every day is bullshit, we can't deal with that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So if you want to work with them, which is the point of that council, ultimately, well, any council, is to say we want to get the income into the area, because ultimately farming is, as you can see from this show, and well, it's dying, and you put in a year of some of the hardest graft you can imagine, and then you get, like you said, like the profit that you make from it, you could get the same just doing minimal wage work, with a bit of overtime, and bang, you've got the same amount of profit as you would as a worker. But there's hundreds of thousands of pounds of costs that are tied up in every venture to get so little out of it.
Nothing really. Like, when you think that, I'm pretty sure me and you have had this conversation, but definitely it was Zoe. But you watch Clarkson's farm, and when it comes to the end of the each season, when it's like, this is what we made, this is what we lost, etc. You definitely see at the end of season 3, where the stuff that has failed has cost loads of money, like the rapeseed oil, and all they've done with this or whatever they've done with that. And when you look at how much money they've spent and how much money they've lost, and that's Clarkson putting his money in it, that's Amazon paying for the show, so it doesn't really matter too much, because they haven't, as long as they get the viewings, they haven't lost it.
I would like to see the figures on what his expenditure was and what Amazon what it's cost them, or did Amazon just say,
blank check?
you're going to be doing this anyway. We'll pay for a crew. We'll pay for the light and the electricity, the catering or whatever to keep the crew happy. Outside of that, though, it's all you. You fail, then you fail on your own dime.
I can't see him doing it. Like, it's too much money to lose of his own personal stuff when he could.
But if that's what he was doing anyway, or planning on doing anyway, then unless he has to cover it, if their agreement is that they cover the losses.
Possibly,
so anything he makes, he keeps. But if he makes a huge loss, then they'll cover it.
Because there's still times where he's like, I was away because I was filming for the Grand Tour or whatever, and stuff like that. But there's, as he tries to point out as well, so like I say, people can say what they want about Clarkson, whether they like him or they don't like him. This show is putting a very good positive light on the farming world. And
how absolutely brutal it is.
Yeah, because whilst, even if Amazon aren't footing the thing for it, he's still getting paid regardless. And he's got lots of money, and he's got his column in the newspaper. He's got a podcast. He's got all the other shows
books.
And stuff, and books and everything else going on. He's fine. But there's farmers that have done the exact same thing and lost everything, and they've walked away with like £150 after they've spent £18,000 or £100,000 or whatever, and they haven't got the luxury of going, well, I'm rich, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah, it'd be like, if we have another year like this, we lose the farm.
And that's happened in season 1, when they're getting some of the other local farms and stuff, and like, we can get, you can sell your milk in our farmhouse, in our farm shop. You can do this, and we can do this for you and whatnot. And I think it was the woman who was selling milkshakes, where she was like, if I hadn't got this, I've got nothing. Like, nothing's moving, and I'm spending more money than I'm making and everything else. So, again, Clarkson doing a really solid thing for the community, and then the council going, nah, you can't do it. It's bad. And I particularly didn't like it in, I think it's season 3, when the council had said, people are coming to your shop when they could be going to better quality shops.
Yeah.
So, how can you say that? If anything, Clarkson's would be the better quality, because he's got the money to get the best possible.
Well, you say that. It feels like a lot of this sort of stuff is just, again, this is the part of it that I hope more than anything is scripted, where he's kind of bodged a product together. And they just gone, here's a stream, let's just fill it up with water. It's nice clean water, and then sell the water.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, it's poisonous. Okay, well, we can't sell that. Like, I don't think that they would have put that on a shelf for someone to come in and buy it before those testings had come through.
No chance.
So they'd go, oh, we'll put it on, and then we'll just go, oh, fuck, well, it's dangerous, so no, we can't do that.
Well, saying that, with the exception of the, again, trying not to spoil things, but with the cider, with Caleb's cider,
yeah,
that
that's like newsworthy.
Yeah,
that's great. But that wasn't their fault, though. That's clearly something in the bottling.
Yeah, well, they said it was I forgot what it actually was now, but you could see it, couldn't you, when they held it up to the light when they went down to the thing a bit. Well, again, that's not Clarkson's fault. That's that fella's fault who's running the fucking place.
You get blamed for that, though.
Yeah, it's Clarkson, isn't it? But yeah, such a good show. Very much recommended if people haven't watched it.
It's one of the things, I think that this is kind of what's the most kind of interesting thing. It's not a glamorous show. It's not going like, it's not, you don't come out of that going, oh my god, I'd love to be a farmer.
No.
It's just...
It's the opposite.
Sorry, she's just...
I say I could just see a paw.
You're right. Little sausage. Yeah, it's like you come out of that going, fuck no, I couldn't do that job. Like, again, we have said this before, but there's probably very few jobs that are as rewarding, like spiritually, mentally rewarding. You just go, God, that was absolute torture for 6 months. But
look at the payoff.
It's done, and it's like now we can carry on next year. Phew. But there does seem to be, like, it seems that they've done this season over the sort of the worst 4 years. You know, you got the back end of Brexit, you had COVID, you had the Russia war, like everything that has been affecting farmers has affected him, and it's done quite a good job of sort of showing that, well, tough.
Yeah.
Like, with the subsidies ending, you're just on your own now, and the people are like, okay, well, we can't afford to do this then. And then do you know what happens when all the farmers go out of fucking business because they can't afford to do anything? Everyone starves to death. Or everything has to be imported, which means it costs a fortune, which means people starve to death because they can't afford it.
Which is a good job we did Brexit.
Yeah, I'm so glad
made it even fucking worse.
Sorted all of our problems out, didn't it? Fucking morons.
Yeah, we're going to go to political stuff, but you've seen Rishi Sunak's latest thing.
Which one's this now?
Oh,
is this the one where he was at the homeless shelter saying like, "Oh, do you run a business?"
No. It said yesterday, if he is elected, he'll bring back national service.
Oh, good. That'll sort everyone out. Get him in the army for 6 months.
Which, don't get me wrong, obviously the army is very important, but it seems like he's saying all the things to not get elected.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be focusing on things that, like, your classic hot-button issues that are going to score you points. Yeah, we'll sort the NHS out. Yeah, we'll try and roll back on some of this Brexit nonsense. Yeah, we'll try and keep taxes and interest rates down. Yeah, we'll try and keep all the food prices down. And go, put me in the army.
Well, I saw a tweet. I actually saw it earlier on, but it said it was a quote from yesterday's story. Sunak aims to bring national service back. And then that was the quote for the article. It says, before we do that, can we bring back other stuff like jobs and nurses and trains? So, like,
yeah, trains that have been on strike intermittently for the past year and a half, yeah.
But again, this is something that's come about after, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, he's gone up to, like, I think he's like the 9th wealthiest, but he's overtaken King Charles in terms of wealth. How?
That's definitely a public servant, isn't it?
You ain't got
somebody's going to be so completely out of touch with the common man that they're there to serve.
Yeah. Although it was funny seeing him on Clarkson's farm with Caleb. He kept calling him the president.
I mean, but that's the most sort of, with no disrespect, that's the most common person that you want to meet. It's people who are the absolute heart and soul, just keeping everything ticking over. Sure, he's never left that town or whatever, and but
he's passionate.
He doesn't need to because it's so ingrained in his
that's his thing.
Being that he, and to kind of go to London and meet the Prime Minister. Also, big shout out to the fucking cunt that works on the door at 10 Downing Street.
Yeah.
You're not that loud again, I'll throw you out. How about you chill the fuck out, mate? Jesus Christ, your job is to answer a door. Why don't you shut up?
I'd like to see him try, though. I reckon Caleb would have took him.
Yeah, twat him.
Were you saying that?
Clarkson's just going to get a phone call. It's like, I'm in prison. Why? I hit a bouncer in number 10.
To be fair, I could see Clarkson go down and just doing the same. But he punched a guy over not getting food. So
What?
that's why he left Top Gear. He punched the producer because they didn't provide food for him and the like all the cameramen and the audio people and everything else. And they got,
why not?
Fuck knows. But they got in a big argument over it, and then Clarkson just twatted him.
Good for you.
And then he was just like obviously probably gonna get rid of him, and then Hammond and May were just like, well, if he goes, we go. And then Amazon are there with a checkbook just going, come on. Look at all this free food.
Yeah, we'll catering forever. We'll pay for a farm for you. And he's like, ooh.
Well, yeah.
And because they've got James May doing bloody cooking shows and all that sort of stuff, haven't they?
I saw another clickbait thing the other day, and it's like, why? Basically, May said he'll never work with Hammond and Clarkson ever again. You read it, and it's basically him just saying, what are we going to do? Like, we've done everything we can together.
Yeah, like we've literally gone around the world. We've shot caravans into space. If we can sit down in 10 years and come up with a new idea, assuming that we're all alive,
if they do like some new mobility scooter Top Gear.
Who knows? VR Top Gear.
But it's again, that's just the way the world works, where they just go, oh, James May's basically said this awful thing, or there's a big secret about Clarkson and Hammond and he doesn't want anybody to know. And it's not. It's just, we've got no reason to work together. Simple as that.
It's not to say that they're not mates. Yeah. It's just...
I assume they're very good friends.
You'd hope so, after working together for like 30 years or something like that, isn't it?
I think it was even longer than that, if I'm honest.
No, I think it was the 90s that they started doing Top Gear, wasn't it?
Let's have a quick look.
Because then it would have been up until... Because it was like Top Gear wasn't started with the three of them. I think it started with some others.
No, it was definitely other people.
And then they kind of came in as new hosts, and the chemistry was just right, I think.
Well, it is 2002, but that just seems far too late.
2002? The Top Gear started?
Apparently.
No, nonsense.
I don't think that is correct, I'll be very honest.
It can't be, right?
Created by Jeremy Clarkson. No, Top Gear was a revival by Jeremy Clarkson and Andy Willman of the 1977 to 2001 show of the same name.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Noel Edmonds was one of the originals.
Really?
And John Bentley from the Gadget Show.
Didn't he go on to do Fifth Gear or something like that?
He may have done.
Because I think one of them left Top Gear to start Fifth Gear, like a Channel 5 Top Gear.
Yeah, but that was a more... If you like cars, this is... Theoretically...
I think that's the more reasonable... It's like, we don't have the budget to go and get a Bugatti and shoot it in a bridge.
If you're interested in the new Volvo...
Here's the new Honda Civic.
Yeah, basically what it was, where it's if you like cars, this is the show where it's just about the cars, but we don't have the budget to get the nice cars that you want to see.
Yeah. We can't race a fighter jet against a Bugatti Veyron. We could stand in the crowd and go, yeah, that's cool, and talk about statistics and stuff.
It was John Bentley. John Bentley went off. John Bentley was originally a producer as well.
Right.
And I believe he then went off to do... Yeah, John Bentley. Yeah, he went off to do...
And then he did Fifth Gear. Yeah.
So 1977 it started.
Now, I'm assuming that they all came in, like they wouldn't have come in at the time. Oh, God, she's licking me. Oh, so precious. What was I saying? Sorry, just the absolute cuteness of this.
I got a bit sidetracked on it. Top Gear is fantastic, and
For what it is, which is not a good car show, but it's like a Michael Bay car
show that happens
to
feature cars. Like, basically, Fast and Furious. That's like saying Fast and Furious is a car film. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Maybe the first one, maybe, but the rest.
Well, it was about thieving more than anything, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it featured nice cars and like. That's what I think. That's the first time people outside of the world of cars knew what a drift was. Like,
have you done a fart?
I didn't.
Have you done a little fart on me?
It'd be a cute one though.
You stinky.
Could be worse, I guess.
You stinky girl.
That's a proper Beckett Mariner, that is. Like...
Set phases to Pong.
But yeah, like Fast and Furious are just action films, not in a realistic way. It's just here's the Rock and here's Vin Diesel doing something ridiculous that is physically impossible to do. Speaking of though, Dan, are you caught up on Reacher?
Nope.
No. Well, that's another thing you need to watch because they've cast someone. I don't know I can't remember his name, and I've only just remembered to mention this. Who's bigger than Alan Richardson, both in height and fucking muscle.
Jesus Christ, that narrows it down to about 0.2% of the world's population.
The book that the basing this Reacher off, the villain in that is a lot bigger than Reacher, and they were like, "Who the fuck are we gonna cast for this?" And it's actually the guy who arm wrestles Red Guardian in Black Widow.
Oh,
it's obviously where
he was a mutant.
Yeah. Obviously, we only see him for like 4 seconds in that movie, but it's him. Aaron Richardson's he's like 6'3" or something like that in height. No, in height, and like 240 pounds or something like that. And then this guy is 7'2", and it's like 360 or something like that.
Bloody hell.
He's huge. They've done the people that I don't know who it was, but where I saw the news, they've got like the old police lineup things. It's got the heights and everything.
Yeah.
It's got Tom Cruise. Obviously, he was Reacher in the films.
Oh yeah.
So it's like Tom Cruise, Alan Richardson, and this other guy.
What's he supposed to be?
I've never read the book, so I couldn't possibly say. All I know is he's. I assume he's going to be ex-Marine or something like that. And
so he won't be as small as Tom Cruise, and he probably won't be as big as Richardson. He'll be kind of a happy medium, I guess.
Reacher, sorry. In the book, sorry, character. I thought you meant this character that's coming in. No, Reacher's meant to be pretty much Alan Richardson. He's just a tank of a fucking fella.
Oh, okay.
Which is why everyone not me. I actually think the Reacher film's okay with Tom Cruise.
Do you know what? I think I've seen a clip of it once where he batters like 3 dudes in a street.
Oh yeah, in the parking lot things. Like
maybe
I give you a chance to walk away.
But he just still it looks like Tom Cruise. Like the only time I've seen Tom Cruise as like intimidating is in Collateral. I think
he's good in that. That's a really
fucking good
film.
movie. That is
very underrated.
It's him, Jamie Foxx in the cab most of the time, and then it's just him just sort of blowing guys away, which is it's kind of great.
Looks good with grey hair as well. Suits him.
He does. He considering he's like 60 or whatever he is, he's in inhuman shape.
Disgustingly good shape.
Well, that's what happens when you're like the richest actor in the world.
That's true. When you can just pay people to work out for you, you just go to sleep.
Oh no, the studios
and they move your arms.
Will pay. The studio will pay for all that for you. All you got to do is just turn up and run real fast.
But yeah, in the books, he's meant to just be a big fucking unit. And then when Cruise was cast in the role in the movies, he's not big enough. And in all fairness, I've not read the books, but I've looked into them a little bit when I started watching Reacher. And I mean, Alan Richardson's not the closest thing you are going to get to him. And I don't see going from that description, you just go, Tom Cruise. That's who we need.
That decision seems more like
Tom Cruise.
Wait, we can get Tom Cruise. Yeah, do it. Because why wouldn't you? That's an instant, right? Whatever the amount we could make of this film, add a 1 to the front of it. That's the sort of impact
we can make $10.
No, $110.
But yeah, it's again, they're not bad. It's not a bad film. I don't know if there's more than one. I've only seen one.
Probably not, which is why we've now got a TV show.
Possibly a great TV show.
Although it is good. I do actually want to get back into it. So I suppose if there's nothing else, what I need to leave you with there, I think, is I'm going to, because I've got a couple of days off work to spend with
Beckett.
With Beckett. So do I watch all of X-Men 97 or do I watch all of Reacher?
97, because I haven't talked about it with anyone, and I fucking need to, Dan. I've got the shakes. I've got comics that we need to catch up on. I've got everything. It's so good. Honestly, X-Men 97's the best, me personally, it's the best thing Marvel-wise that's been on Disney Plus so far.
Well, that's interesting. I might do that tonight then, because I've already had dinner tonight, Callum, and I need to play with her for a couple of hours to knock her out. And then I've got the rest of the next 2 days. To be fair, I might be able to bang out.
You can finish both because you've already started Reacher and you've already started 97, so you're not starting from scratch. And 97 are only like half an hour long anyway. So
that's true. Yeah.
You could get them finished tonight, because I think.
I'll do my best for you.
I'm sure you're on episode 4.
Yes, episode 4 is very much.
So you've only got that, and then Reacher. You need to finish Banshee as well. You've got plenty.
Banshee.
You got plenty of time on that.
Started that about 12 years ago.
But yeah, and then get back into Reacher when you can. The new season's not out for a long time, so we've got plenty of time to catch up on that. But 97 is still relevant, mainly because we've got stuff in the store that's related to X-Men 97.
Oh, good. What a great segue.
Podcastsplay.com/PvP store. You can check all that stuff out, as well as our other things, including, Dan, Quiet Facts.
Yes.
Excellent little merchandise run that we've got going there. And there's other stuff. There's PvP things. There's non-PvP things. There's just lots of things.
Lots of things to buy, so get at it.
Give us some money, please. We've also got some new reviews coming up, including the Huawei Watch Fit 3, which should be going up probably back end of this week or next week. And then tomorrow I have a new thing coming, the Mayono G1 Neo audio interface, I want to say it's called, and I can't remember.
Okay.
But that should be here tomorrow, so we'll have a review up in about a week or so, I reckon. Whatever else we got. We've got Convince Cal.
Yep. Recorded that on Friday, didn't we?
Timberborn? What's it called?
Yeah.
Was it right? Timberborn. Yeah, I thought it was. We'll have that coming up. And some other things down. There's just lots going on. Might just have a video of just like photos of Beckett.
Well, to be fair, we need there's I'm pretty sure the highlight reel that's the main highlight reel for the channel is like from 2022. So probably need a new one of that, to be fair. We do these.
And I need to have another strip out. My PC had a bit of a panic attack the other day, so we need to have a look at what we can do, what we can get out, and then bin it and buy a new one, I reckon. No, I'm only joking. But where can they go if they want to catch up on stuff?
Well, everything can be found at www.podcastversusplayer. That's podcastvsplayer.com. You can also go to youtube.com/podcastvsplayer, and everything that's either on the website or on YouTube, they're all on there. Or there's also everything that's on Spotify. It's on Google Play. Not Google Play. What's it called? Google something.
Google Podcasts. But that's going soon. We had an email the other day. They're closing down. But you can go to iTunes. You can go to Spotify. You can go to Amazon Podcasts. You can go to Castbox. You can go to Stitch. Basically, anywhere you can listen to podcasts, we're there.
Yeah,
just
there and ready
creeping
for your
up on people and strangling other podcasts.
Whispering seductively into people's ears. Hey, quiet facts.
Like, oh, I think I need a new t-shirt. But we're going to leave it there. So thank you for watching us. Thank you for joining. And thanks, Beckett, for being the cutest little motherfucker I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely, she is. She'd say goodbye, but she's completely fucked off. So she beamed out, I'm afraid.
Well, for everybody else, here's another slideshow again of Beckett. So because I will say though,
there you are.
oh,
Come here, girl.
let's get rid of this slideshow. Let's get a backup for reelses.
Yeah. Here you go, baby.
Look at that adorable little muffin. Lovely colouring as well. She's so cute. Are you gonna get her a red collar, and then?
No, because red shirts die, Callum.
Mariner wears a red shirt.
Exactly, that's the joke. Also, it's command colours, but it's.
Because what I was going to say is you could get, like, every birthday, you get another little. She gets a pin.
She's crewman Beckett at the moment. Crewman Meowner.
So good. So good.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one. Bye. This week's episode is brought to you by NYXI and their Hyperion Pro Joy-Cons for Nintendo Switch. The Hyperion Pro is the best Joy-Con replacement we've tested to date. They look fantastic, they feel better than stock Joy-Cons, and the Hall effect sticks ensure longevity of them will outlast Nintendo's offering, as well as other third-party brands that still suffer with the dreaded drift issues. The super comfortable and ergonomic grip allow for easy long-time gaming, the programmable RGB lights mean you can customise the controller to your particular taste, and the gamer's reflex macro buttons are available to give you an edge. Plus, the GameCube-inspired purple option and the green Legend of Zelda-inspired variant really make the controller stand out. All this, and using promo code PvP, you can get 10% off. Head over to NYXIGame.com or use the link in the description.